Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monthly Movie Mini Reviews with Andrew and Keleigh. Whee! We are in April. It's July as we record this, but we're working on our April movies. But we've been very busy of late, so I don't know what your May and June movies list are looking like, but mine are pretty barren, and I didn't watch as many movies in April either. So we might be able to get through April today.
Very exciting.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't.
No, because of course everything I watch also comes with a story behind.
Yeah. We don't just talk about the movie, we talk about the circumstances in which we watched it.
There you go.
And what was
okay. The good news is that we're planning on other exploits that might help us hone our narratives.
Right.
But we'll talk about that later.
Okay. The first movie I watched in April was Fantastic Four.
There's like
the first one, the one with Jessica Alba and Chris Evans and Michael Chiklis.
Yes.
I already did a long video about this. So my thoughts, and up there, my thoughts are well known. Have you seen it?
Yes.
There are things I like. Like I thought Chris Evans was wonderful as the Human Torch. I thought he had a great rapport with Michael Chiklis as the Thing. I really liked the practical makeup effects they were doing with the Thing. I thought some of the staging of Mr. Fantastic's powers and how they use them were actually really inventive.
Who is that actor? Who is he?
The guy who plays him? I have no idea.
I have no idea who this guy is. And here's controversial words coming, so feel free to be like, what the hell, Keleigh? I don't like Mr. Fantastic.
The character?
I'm not a fan. I just don't like him.
I don't like him. Generally,
powers. I'm not a fan of that. Sorry,
generally speaking, I don't like stretchy characters. I don't like Mr. Fantastic. I don't like Plastic Man. I don't like Stretch Armstrong.
Elastigirl is the only one who's
Elastigirl's cool. I like Elastigirl.
He does it, yeah.
I like Kamala Khan as a character, the comic book version of her. I like her as a character. I didn't really care for the comic book, or rather, I didn't really care for her power set. I like her character. I think she's fun. I'm really enjoying the Disney Plus show. And I think it's a nice compromise between a stretchy character and like Green Lantern kind of light construct powers.
Sure.
But anyway, the actor who played Jessica Alba, the guy who plays Mr. Fantastic and the guy who plays Doctor Doom in the movie, I'm sure they're all fine actors, but they are certainly not served by the way the characters in this movie are written.
Yeah.
So they come off as very flat, but I'm certainly not blaming those actors in this movie. No. Also, Jessica Alba was way too young in 2005 to be playing Sue Storm.
Super hot she's super hot today, but that's in physical, appearance. But
yes.
She had come off of some she was in that Teen Angel movie show. Is it Teen? I don't know, but she played a kick butt character on a TV show on the CW or the WB, whatever it was back then, for quite some time. Dark Angel.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm like, it wasn't Buffy.
No, and it wasn't Alias. But it was
that was Jennifer Garner.
Yes.
Who's actually in Elektra, which is the next superhero movie I have to watch because I completely forgot about it when I made my list of movies I hadn't seen. So that's the next one on the list.
It's interesting.
Thanks.
Yeah. That's great. But she was just really hot at the time. She was in Idle Hands, if you remember our story.
Yes.
To watch Idle Hands. A story for another time, friends. Anyways, okay. Well, I'm glad you're with me on the stretch thing because I'm always like, I don't know. I don't like it.
Still, while the effects are very 2005, there was a lot of creativity in realizing and staging what he does with his powers. It's like, oh, that's a neat application of stretchy powers. I like what they did there. That was cool. I still not really into stretchy characters. Maybe it just squicks me out. I'm not even sure what it is. I just generally don't like stretchy characters.
Yeah.
Oh well. So Fantastic Four, I did a video review. There are things I like. That I hope they capitalize on in the sequel, which was 2007, 8, somewhere around there.
I don't think I ever saw it.
Rise of the Silver Surfer. So I'm like, it's Galactus.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I don't think I saw it, but now I remember the name of it at least.
Yeah, and then they did Fan Four Stick in like 2015 or something like that, which where they fantastic, but they put a 4 right in the middle of it, so everyone kept calling it Fan Four Stick. Stop doing that. People who title movies, stop jamming numbers in the middle. It's dumb. Nobody likes it. You look dumb. You think it's all hip. You think the kids like it. We don't. I wouldn't have were I a kid. I thought T2 was stupid back when I was 12.
Oh, see, but like, does Fantastic, Fast and Furious, do they have any of those? I mean, they have Fast 5.
Well, let's see. It was Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, which is just, which is so dumb. I'm like, okay. I'll allow it. Then it was Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, and then I think it was The Fast and the Furious or something they did for 4.
There was one that, and
then it was Fast 5.
They dropped the
yeah, I think
and they're working
Fast
on
5,
10 right now. By the way,
something like that. I saw the first one in the theater, and I was like, that's all right, and I never bothered to see the rest of them.
I love them. They're terrible, but they're exactly what they are supposed to be, and they're exactly what you need when you want them.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. So moving on to a movie that we're actually going to talk about.
Ooh, yes.
As if we didn't really talk about Fantastic Four, but See for Me. SEEC. See for Me. So
is this a foreign film?
No, I don't think so. No, I it might be Canadian.
I only asked because
it is. It's Canadian. So it's a foreign film, yes.
Well, it is a foreign film, but I only asked because the title seems like it's been through a translator.
Here's the premise. A blind woman survives a home invasion with the help of a phone app that allows someone to see for her.
Oh. And so like you hold up your phone like this.
So you essentially, you get on a video call with someone who you hold up your phone and they will see for you and tell you there's a coffee table in front of you about 5 feet, step to the left, you're coming up to a flight of stairs. So in case you get lost or you get turned around or you can't find your cat, you can dial into this app, which will connect you with an operator who will connect to your phone camera and see for you and help you out. It's a really neat service. Okay, so we have a blind woman who is stuck in your typical home invasion scenario, and she uses the See For Me app to, escape the bad guys.
May I just point out that you're really interested in blind women and their home invasion stories lately?
Did I have another blind woman home invasion?
Audrey Hepburn in the.
Oh, you're right. What was that called?
Niche thing, but brother really likes it.
Hey, we all have our kinks. Is it a kink? Proclivities? Yeah.
Please continue.
Oh man, that's gonna bug me. I can't remember what the name of the movie is. So dynamite premise. I love that premise. What a wonderful premise. But here's the problem.
Okay.
The main character sucks as a person. She's just unlikable. She's thoroughly unpleasant to like everyone around her, which made it impossible for me to actually get behind her.
Yeah.
Other than that, and the ending, solid movie. I don't think the ending worked, but I really like it. Wonderful setup, wonderful premise. The for the most part, the movie is, what happens and how it happens is really good. I really like it, despite the ending not doing it for me. But where it falls apart for me is just a thoroughly unlikable lead character. Not the actor's fault. It's just here's the thing. If I suddenly lost my sight, I might be a bit prickly too. I might be seething in a broth of self-loathing, or just be real ornery with everyone.
Sure.
I mean, that's understandable. I get where they're coming from, and it's a kind of movie that thematically what they're doing is she has to learn to trust other people, right? Because she's like a competitive downhill skier. You can only ski downhill. I don't. Why is it down? Is there? Skiing. I want to see some uphill skiing. Gosh darn it!
So there's downhill skiing, or there's cross country skiing, which is
it's either flat or
flat.
Yeah, so, that's right. I'm an uphill skier.
You have a conversation sometimes. See how long it takes someone to be like, "Wait, what?" Because I think most people are like, "Oh, that's great."
Yeah, I do uphill skiing. Oh, really? How's that? Yeah, it's fun. It's just like, wait, what?
You don't move very fast, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's you thought golf games were slow. Good God. What was that? Okay, so she's a competitive skier. She gets in an accident or something, loses her sight, and so her family and social group are trying. It's like, you need to do partner skiing, ski with someone who sees for you, which I don't know if that's a thing. That's just make sure there are no trees around. I mean, so essentially someone who can see skis in front of you, and you get on a walkie-talkie with them and they guide you down the hill. I'm sure it's a thing. But she's like, I don't need anybody. And so the movie is, you have to rely on other people. There's no shame in that. And you can live a fulfilling life, blah, blah, blah.
Allowed to ask for help. Yeah.
I get that. She needs room to grow. An arc cannot be flat. It has to do that, right? Definitionally. The problem is she's just so unbelievably unlikable that I couldn't get behind her. She's mean to her mom. She's mean to the taxi driver. She's mean to the owner of the house that she's house sitting for, where the film takes place. I mean, she's like snippy. No, I don't. Help me out. She tries. She's just an ass, really. And again, I get what they're going for. I see where she's coming from, but she's just so thoroughly unlikable that that hurts the movie for me. Like, she gets the taxi, gets her where she's going, and she's been really rude to the dude. And then she's like, can you tell me where the house is? And he's thinking, well, okay. The actor does a nice job selling. He's like, well, I can't just point and say that way. And I'm really certain she doesn't want me to grab her and orient her. And he's like to your left a little bit, and more too far back. There you go. And there's some like steps that go down. Bye. If you're just going to be an ass about it. Then she gets into the house, and the person's like saying, okay, and here's Mr. Fluffles, and he's got treats in the pantry in the kitchen. Let me show you. She's like, oh no, I'll find it. I'm like, okay, not only are you blind, but you don't know the layout of the house. I wouldn't trust a sighted person to be able to find the treats in the pantry. Let me show you where Mr. Pinkle's treats are, or whatever.
Right.
She just sucks. She's also thinking about stealing stuff from the house and hawking it for money, because she's, oh, poor is me, I'm owed this kind of a thing. And if it were just that, yeah, the movie does a really interesting thing where she gets caught by the home invaders. Okay. And she tries to join them. She's like, I can help you find the safe or the money, or I know where some cool stuff is. Or she's like, if this is just a rich person who's going on vacation, needs someone to watch their house and feed the cat.
Got it.
She's just house sitting.
Okay.
And I think the rich woman who owns the place is recently divorced, and I think her ex-husband like hires people to rob the place, I guess, to get some of his money back or something. I think that's what the plot is. But anyway, she's like, I'll help you if you cut me in on the profits. And at this point in the movie, you're not really sure if if that's a ruse to try and survive, or if she's just going full dark side. And that's really some lovely tension there, and would work a ton better if you actually cared about the character. And like, no, Susan, don't. I think it's Sophie. No, Sophie, don't fall to the dark side, kind of a thing. Is she going? But at this point, I'm like, no, go full bad guy. I will give this movie a full pass if she just goes full villain. And is it Keleigh? I think Keleigh is the name of the woman on the other end of the phone who sees for her, has to fight against her, and they instead of helping one another, they fight each other. I'm like, that could be a great twist. I'm totally into this because screw Sophie, she sucks. But great premise, pretty decent film. They went too far with an unsympathetic character.
Yeah.
Oh well. One thing I want to point out is the woman, Keleigh, I think her name is, who's seeing for her.
Sure.
She is a former military person. That
would probably be a really good, because I was thinking like, you have to be quick. Like, I would kill someone immediately. I don't know my right from my left.
Well,
so there's that.
Sophie gets one of the bad guys' guns, and so she has to point and shoot with the C for me was going up and to the left, fire. Like she's playing a first-person shooter, which is pretty, because she's introduced playing in some like Halo or something like that. So
that's good.
So that's kind of fun.
That's right.
The thing that, although I was watching the movie and this Keleigh person, she was talking about, I was in the Afghanistan. I'm like, you're 22.
Yeah.
This movie is came out this year. It was made last year. You're way too young to have been fighting back in the she's
90.
talking about like 2005 or something.
Oh, okay. That one.
And I'm like, no. And I look up the actor and she's like 38. I'm like, oh,
good on you.
She looked good. I thought she was young 20s. I was like, damn, lady, you look really good.
She'd be thrilled to hear that.
I seriously thought she was like young, maybe 25 at best. No, she's like 37, 38.
Oh no.
I'm like, oh, looking good.
And then I have all of this. Like, I can't be 20 anymore.
Yeah. we do not pass for we do not play people in our 20s anymore. You hear that, movie studios? Stop casting people our age to play high school kids. Hello, fellow children. Hello, kids, whatever it is. All right, let's before I get over to yours, let's just actually, yeah, let's do yours. You're next. Go up.
Okay.
Go up. Go.
I'm up.
You're
let's
up.
Do it.
Go.
Europe. Go.
Europe. Someone's
there was someone.
Yeah.
There was someone right there.
But it wasn't Olivia, so no one cares.
Yeah, no one cares. So I watched. So I watched Gravity. But I didn't.
Wait, the Sandra Bullock, George Clooney one? Oh, okay.
So, where did I go in April? I went to Pasadena, right? That's my April trip.
I know the little old lady there.
Yes, there is a little old lady there. So
just
I went,
one.
Just the one. That's all you need. That's all you need. Stay off the roads, guys.
One little old lady per town.
So I went to Pasadena, and I have been getting into watching movies on the plane. Makes me very happy to do. And so I was on my way to California, and I was watching Gravity. Well, this was my first or second flight. Second flight. First flight, slept like you do. Second flight, Gravity. Problem is I lost connection. So I'm watching the movie. And by the way, spoiler alerts, but it's a very
I've been trying to bust into the song from Wicked, but I can't remember any of the words or the melody. It's like something gravity.
Defying gravity.
Defying gravity. I'm like, what is it? Anyway, go ahead.
So I'm on the plane and Sandra Bullock hits down in the water, her little
odd thing, yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen?
I've seen it, yeah.
Okay. So it hits down in the water and she crawls onto the sand, and then internet goes out because we are making our final descent into, Pasadena. So please pick up everything. And they've stopped the free Wi-Fi on the plane and everything. And I'm like, and I look and there's like 12 minutes left. And I was like,
that's the end of the movie.
And I'm with
10 of those minutes are credits.
That's the thing. You could be like, with 12 minutes left, you're like, there could be 6 minutes left of movie and then some credits, or there could be zoom out, roll credits. I didn't find out the answer to that because Gravity is not streaming for free anywhere. But I went to Miami last week.
So you got to watch it again.
The last maybe 10 seconds, and you know what happens? She crawls onto the beach and she stands up.
Yep. Maybe she dies. If Gravity 2 may be a whole Robinson Crusoe movie.
It's so fun. Like that's the thing is, I'm like, I didn't miss it, but like I needed that closure. I needed that closure of like all she just stands up and does this.
Whew.
And then it zooms and it does the exact zoom out, credits roll, and I'm like, oh, but I was just like laughing so hard because it was lit. I honestly only finished it. When did I go to Miami? 2 weeks ago. So I finished it 2 weeks ago and I started it in April.
So it took you 3 months, April, May, June, July. It took you 3 months to watch this movie.
To watch Sandra Bullock stand up. And let me tell you, as you get older, sometimes 3 months is what it takes. So here's
the knees, the back.
Like, I'll be right with you. So no,
see you in July.
Yeah, right. So I liked it. I was really so this was also a movie. So this movie and I had a long history because up for the Oscars way back when.
Effects, I'm guessing.
06? No, Best Picture. So this was one of the first. So here's the thing. This movie was one of the first.
I mean, it's pretty good, but
time I think so. Yeah, so it was up for Best Picture, but this was a time when there was a big snowstorm, and so I think it was like 12, maybe. I said 06, which is a lie because I was here in St. Louis. So maybe it was like 2012-ish. Snowmageddon was.
Jesus, is the movie a decade old now? Yeah.
So we had a huge ice storm, and of course, this was back in the time when I was going to the theater for the Oscar showcase, right? And so Gravity was the last one, or there were two left. I forget what it was. Zero Dark 30 and Gravity were the last two, but the ice had started coming, and you know how I am about snow, and I was like,
so they didn't like stop the showing, you ducked out early.
I ducked out early because I see snow and I get panic attacks. So I was like, this is where I leave you. And then it took me till 10 years later until I finally saw it. So like we've had a long history of me not seeing Gravity. Which
so it didn't take it. So you didn't quite start watching it back in 2012.
But I always wanted to because I was supposed to. I was in a theater to watch it.
Solid film. I enjoyed it.
But I can't. It's a good, solid film. It's very intense watching one person up there. And it's really sad with George Clooney's character. And like, honestly, and I love me some George Clooney, I do, but his role in this, I'm like, that is just so perfectly George Clooney because he's an old astronaut guy getting ready to end and just snarky and this needs just, very
2 days till retirement.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm just like, you couldn't pick a guy who could care more and care less at the same time. And I was like, good on you, sir. Good on you, sir. So, I mean, I don't need to talk a lot about the movie. I'm pretty sure that if you've seen the previews, you kind of know she's stuck in. I mean, it's just how she does it. She's in space, but she's an engineer. She's not even an astronaut. So she's up there on the space station.
She's repairing a telescope or a satellite or something like that.
Debris from something else comes through and knocks the schniznick out of that station. And there's debris everywhere.
I think it punches a hole through someone's head, doesn't it?
It does. And someone's mask just opens and like you see like their withered face later and I'm just like, oh, and so it kills everyone there. And basically Mr. George Clooney takes a forever spacewalk is basically, and she's like holding on for dear life, and she kind of goes out into space and has to like find debris to, and I know it's called debris, to like get on.
If they want me to pronounce it correctly, they should spell it correctly.
Indeed.
You're going to spell it debris. I'm going to pronounce it debris.
So it really is. And so it's her journey home and how she does it. And which I knew it would be. I didn't go into this movie thinking that it was going to be a different story. I don't think anyone went into the movie thinking it'd be a different story, but it was beautifully done. Very intense.
It's one of those films that what they're selling you is exactly what it is.
Thank goodness, not many movies do that.
That's true. That's true. It's like, no, a woman stuck in space, and it's she's running out of oxygen and life support systems. How does she survive?
And she's truly alone. There are so many movies that talk about like The Martian, and let's be real, I love The Martian.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one too.
He is alone. However, there's an entire cast of people because there's people in Houston helping him. There's this literally is, there's like 5 people. Most of them are voices.
And it literally two of them die. And then one is like a voice she hears on the radio. She doesn't even speak the language.
So it truly is.
You know what I really loved about switching to a movie? You know what I really loved about The Martian, though? We've probably talked about this before. What I love about that movie is there's no bad guy.
Yeah.
There's no like evil corporate dude who's like, that people have to work around because it's too expensive to save Matt Damon. Everyone's just like, we're gonna go get our boy. Yeah, exactly. I love that. Home.
Yeah. So, but anyways, it's a quick watch.
True for Gravity also, but more by necessity because it's essentially just one person show.
Yeah, it is one.
Yeah, I liked Gravity. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah.
All right.
But there you go, Gravity.
All right. I next watched X-Men: The Last Stand, which I did a video about. So
third one, right?
It's the third one, yeah.
This is the one I have not seen.
You're not missing much.
I have heard, because isn't the next movie the one that they kind of rewrite the story because they're like, sorry.
Yeah, the next one, I think the next one was X-Men First Class.
Oh, and then Days of Future
Past. They might have done like Wolverine's Origins or something like that first, but the next one I think was X-Men First Class, which was quite good. I really enjoyed. Yeah. And that one was kind of a prequel, took place in, I don't know, the 80s or something like that. And quite good. X-Men: The Last Stand, quite bad.
I know, and I love Femke, because isn't Femke like really key? She's like the dark.
Yeah, she plays Phoenix, but they didn't think anything beyond, this is the one where we have Phoenix. And they didn't think or plan anything beyond that. And she literally stands there for most of the movie. She has no role in the plot at all. She's just there. I think she's a function to get rid of actors that maybe had scheduling problems. So they're like, oh, you're busy doing another movie? Oh, we'll just kill you off. Phoenix can kill you. It's fine.
That is so sad.
I honestly don't know if some major characters die in this film and early, and I'm not sure if it was just a ballsy move or if the actors had scheduling issues and they just killed them off. I really don't know. But Magneto is like, Brotherhood of Mutants, we need to do stuff, and we have Phoenix, and she's standing there. She's like, I'm like, why are you here? She has nothing to do. Last battle, she just stands there the entire time. Doesn't do anything. The entire battle is over and she's still standing there. And then the police show up and start shooting, and then she starts, disintegrating everyone with their Phoenix powers. I'm like, the cops just showing up unwanted and starting shooting at people. I can see that. Sure. This movie is pretty prescient. Yeah, it's a bad movie. Again, there are things I like. The Beast costume for the Hank McCoy character Beast, really wonderful practical makeup costume.
Is
really
that
like that.
Kelsey Grammer?
Is Kelsey Grammer in that one? Yeah. They changed him for, of course, for new class. What did I call it? Yeah, X-Men first class.
New class was Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, there you go. I liked the Juggernaut's costume. That's Vinnie Jones, I think. That's a great costume. Again, it's a movie with an interesting premise. They find a mutant who had, well, it doesn't really matter. They find a cure for mutant powers. It's like a gene therapy thing that suppresses the mutant gene, so any powers you manifest are repressed. So if you're Beast, all of your blue fur retracts and you have pink skin, you know. If you're Rogue, you don't kill people by merely touching them anymore.
That poor character has just the worst.
And so you think, okay, well, I can see where a premise like this is going, right? So if that therapy actually existed, you'd have a bunch of camps. You'd probably have some government camp who wants to weaponize it to start shooting mutant cure bullets at mutants. There's shades of like, oh, come mutants, free gene therapy thing, and it's can we really trust them? They've been hurting us the entire time. You'd have the Brotherhood of Mutants, probably trying to blow something up or kill us. So like, no one should take it. We're all perfect. And then you have Xavier's group kind of in the middle. You can see a lot of different perspectives battling over what should be an individual choice. The argument of people not recognizing that. In my review, I talked about like, cosmetic surgery. You may have not perfectly straight teeth, and some people, there's some people may be perfectly fine with that. Yeah. It's like, I don't care, but other people may like, what, I can speak, I can eat, I can breathe without a problem, but I want to straighten my teeth. It's just something I aesthetically want, and there's nothing wrong with that. And you have, some mutants who are, for lack of a better phrase, human passing, who have abilities to, just on a whim control the weather, not like Peppa in Encanto where the weather reacts to your emotions, but actively control it. You have, another dude who just has wings and can fly. I mean, probably shopping for shirts is difficult, but he can fly. But then you have other people like Rogue who kills everyone she touches. And she's like, yeah, I'd rather not have that. It's not like something I control. Just everyone who touches me falls into a coma and probably dies. So there could be a lot of really interesting. They pose a really they pose a really interesting ethical debate at the beginning of the movie. They're like, here is a human who is brain dead, but the body is alive. What are the ethics of transmitting the consciousness from someone from a disabled body into an able body without a mind? Ooh, well, that's an interesting ethical quandary. The movie is not at all interested in exploring that at all. Xavier just plops his mind in there at the end. It's like, oh, I guess it's fine.
Guess we're okay with this.
Guess we didn't really need to think about that one too much. Yeah, it's a bad movie. It feels like a movie that they made because they wanted another X-Men movie, and they didn't really.
I'm pretty sure that is true.
Like, you have, again, great cast, but it's a movie with no character arcs. Like, no character has an arc at all. It's the weirdest thing. I
hate that. Yeah.
No, and Hugh Jackman is bad in it because he has nothing to do. And Hugh Jackman's not a bad actor. He's great, but they gave Wolverine nothing to do. No one has anything to do.
Did he just pine over?
Yeah, I mean, he's pine. Jean's alive. I'm like, well, I remember from the last movie. Okay, and then she's gone. I guess we got to stop her from what? She's not doing anything but standing there. And the only reason she flips out at the end of the movie is because the cops show up and start shooting. She didn't do anything. And then whatever. It's watch my review. The movie's bad. So
what else?
I also watched Superman Returns.
Is that one with Brandon Roth and Katie Bos? Were terrible. Hate Kate Bosworth worse than Margot Kidder, and that says a lot because I freaking hate her as Lois Lane. But Kate Bosworth is a. What did you think?
I thought it was a bad movie.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I don't know if I'd go so far as terrible, but I thought it was genuinely bad. Again, it's a movie with a watch my review. It's like 50 minutes long. I just premiered it as we shoot this. You won't see it for a month or two, but as we shoot this, I debuted my review of Superman Returns this past week.
Oh.
And I watched it in April though, so it's been a while. I've been busy. The premise of the movie is Superman buggers off for no clear reason. It's no one, without telling anybody. And when he returns, the back of the box says the world has moved on without Superman, and he has to learn how to adjust to a changing world, which is not what happens in the movie at all. Yeah. He just the only one pissed at him is Lois, and rightfully so, because he just took off he just left her pregnant.
Yeah, because she was apparently 16 and pregnant, and he took off because when he returns, she's like 22, has like this 8-year-old, and I'm like, first off, I get it. Oh. If he was 8, she would be 24. I know math. Calm down. But like,
no, he's gone for 5 years. How old was Kate Bosworth when she did that movie?
I don't know, but she looked like a child, and that's the thing. Like, it's fine if you're a 30-year-old woman who looks 20. Good on you, but this isn't the role for you.
Yeah.
Also like wet paint just drying on a wall, Brandon Ruth. Like, I remember he was on the front of every entertainment magazine, and like everyone was like, this is the new Superman, and la 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 la, and I was just like,
he looks good.
He's a cardboard box. Like, he can't.
Also, the character's not written well because Superman's really creepy. He just kind of stares at people and hangs out outside her house and goes in her son's room and watches him sleep. I'm like, dude, that's creepy. Don't do that.
No, not.
Yeah, it's not a good movie.
I don't think I've enjoyed.
I like the idea of Superman is gone for 5 years, and when he comes back, the world has moved on without him and aren't particularly welcoming, and he has to learn how to navigate this new world. I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff to mine from that, especially if he was gone for 5 years and for a good reason. Like, as I said in my review, he fell into a boom tube and it took him 5 years to get back. That happened.
He was skiing uphill.
He's skiing uphill. He's like, oh no, I had to go to Apocalypse and fight Darkseid, and it took me a long time. And I had to do that, 1, to save the people of Apocalypse, and 2, because he was coming here next. And so I apologize, but that required me to leave. Yeah. And the world moved on without him, and how he deals with that. That's potentially really interesting. That's not what the movie is, though.
Yeah.
Also, through 2022 eyes, got a lot of shitty people in this movie. First of all, directed by Bryan Singer, stars Kevin Spacey and Frank Langella. All really horrible, shitty people. And it's like, oh well, that's.
There was a brotherhood on that set.
Yeah.
I hope, I may have said negative things about Madame Bosworth, but I do hope that she did not have a negative experience on set.
Oh, yeah.
Surrounded by those jackholes, I really hope that, whatever I think of you or your performance, I do hope that it wasn't at least an okay set for her.
I like the idea that a reporter won a Pulitzer for an op-ed. Has it ever happened? Just for because it looks like
one hell of an op-ed.
I want to read this thing, I talk about this more in the review, but usually, Pulitzers are awarded to people that do real in-depth reporting and, multi-report reports or big projects, like the 1619 project and stuff like that, big in-depth reports, not a single or maybe double page op-ed. Right. Why Superman's God being is a good thing, actually. Whatever. All right, so I guess you're up next. Yes.
So I watched Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Okay. That's one of those it's on the I should see at some point list, but no.
I love it. I loved it. It is so Betty Davis and Joan Crawford in the height of these two actresses like had such a like, I don't know if in reality they disliked each other, not quite sure, but I definitely know that like they were pitted against each other in the public eye quite a lot. And so having them in this movie together, I remember it was, I can't say I remember because I was not alive in the 60s. And so it was a very big deal for these two ladies to be in this movie together because it was such a, it was an event. It was an event. They were, So you have Betty Davis, who I think plays the older sister to Joan Crawford's Blanche, and Betty Davis is Baby Jane, yes. And so as a child, Baby Jane was very much like, Gypsy Rose Lee type of like the little kids who, she was a vaudevillian, and she had, the perfect blonde ringlets. And of course, her younger sister was in the wings, like, and she was a obnoxious child.
Do they have different actors playing them for flashbacks or?
Yeah, so when the movie begins, you see them as children, and it's maybe a 5-minute thing, and it's basically Baby Jane is on stage doing her, oh my God, it's so cute, and she sings her little letters to daddy song. I'm sending a letter to daddy, and you're like, so
it's creepy how well you do that voice.
So she sings her little letter to daddy song, and everyone applauds, and then you see like the mother's off stage with Joan, Baby Joan or Baby Blanche, I guess, and she's like, it's all right, sweetie, someday you'll have your turn. And Blanche is like, I hate her so much, and rightfully so. She's kind of I want ice cream, and all these things. And you're like, whoa, Baby Jane, calm it day, please. Fast forward then, and they're older, and yes, Baby Jane never grew out of her Baby Jane-ness. She's like clutching onto, I used to be someone, whereas Blanche apparently made her name and was like this prolific, wonderful actress. And then there was an accident that made her wheelchair bound, Miss Blanche. And so they live together in a home, and Jane takes care of Blanche. And there is just so much animosity towards each other, and like Jane misses the spotlight, and it truly is the story of Baby Jane's psychological, like, mental decay. It truly, she does it brilliantly, because I sometimes, the style of acting in the early, like 40s, 50s, and some of the 60s is a different style of acting than we have today. It is definitely stylistic. It is definitely, and there's also women
more broad, bit more arch,
yeah, it was much more broad and almost theatrical acting, whereas now it's like nuanced acting.
It's like the camera's right up in your grill. You don't need to play to the back seats.
Right. So see, me better on stage. You'd be great on film, but like I don't know how to not talk grandly. So and also for women in the 40s, 50s, 60s, the roles weren't for us ladies anyways, but this movie revolves around two women, two amazingly talented women, and I was really captivated by it, because Betty Davis truly goes like just downhill, and she is jealous of her sister, but she wants to make a comeback for herself, but she has no goddamn talent other than being that ringleted head, child who is, and she treats her sister like crap, but and then at the end, it's a very, 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 very sad ending. You learn about how Blanche was injured in the accident and who caused the accident, and she passes away on the beach in the middle of everything while Jane dances around her, and which sounds really weird, but it's fascinating to watch. And I was captivated the whole time, and I really liked it. And it's weird because you don't like Jane. You don't. She is.
You're not supposed to, though.
But you're not, and that's the thing. You're not supposed to like her. You don't like her, and yet you feel so bad for this woman.
Yeah.
Somehow you don't like her, but you're like, God, she's ruining. She's doing it to herself. People are trying to help her. People are trying to assist her, and she just can't. She can't get over the fact. But like, I've never been a child star, believe it or not, y'all. But who knows what that must feel like to be literally on top of the world, and then possible, if you just kind of make it up in your head, you hit puberty and people are like, ooh, that's not what we were paying for. We don't want we don't want Shirley Temple to be a sexy adolescent. We don't want
Judy
Shirley
Garland,
Temple.
for what I understand, had to bind her chest well into her 20s to keep working.
Yeah, and so it, I can only imagine the psychological turmoil that tells you is like, we only want you when you're cute, which I guess still, in the zeitgeist. But
you grew up, ew.
Oh man, yeah. Look at that. Oh, you have crow's feet now, and you have, but they don't want, yeah. So it's fascinating. And of course, Joan Crawford is her own, because of course, now that we know all of the background, not background, but that she was a terrible human being. Apparently, we hear about Joan Crawford. And so it's interesting to watch her on camera and go, wow, your sister's abusing you the way that you abuse your children. But anyways, I highly recommend the movie. It came at it for me, I expected to go, okay, seen it. Because I've seen Casablanca.
Just check that off the list.
Yeah.
Casablanca's fine.
It's fine. It's a movie. It happened. I watched it. I checked it off the list. But this one I really liked, actually. I was genuinely entertained and surprised.
It's funny when you watch anything from the AFI Top 100 or right. The bucket list movies, right? Because you're never, it's like, is it really that good? Or am I going to come away going, oh my God, it's really, really good? Or I'm going, well, that sucks. Or it's like, that's fine. It's good. Yeah. It's like I saw Citizen Kane a couple of years ago, and I was like, it's pretty good. It's fine. I don't think it's that good, but I think it's a decent film. Yeah.
The cinematography and the directing is what makes that a master film. Orson Welles is fantastic as well. No, Citizen Kane.
Yeah, you're talking Citizen Kane. Yeah.
Orson Welles is fantastic.
Although it's clearly his first movie, because while there is some incredibly well done technical cinematography, there's also some stuff in the movie that is just boneheadedly amateurish.
Sure, but
but there is some really wonderful stuff in that. Yeah,
there is.
And and his performance is great, and it's a genuinely good, interesting film. But anyway, yeah, Baby Jane's, it's one of the, I have no idea if it actually is on the AFI Top 100, but it's definitely one of those known films that it's been on my to-do list or to watch list for a long time. I've always wondered, is the baby doll character that premiered in the Batman animated series, the actress who is stuck in the body of like a 6-year-old little girl.
You know,
I always wonder if she was inspired by that.
Because Baby Jane has a doll. Like there is a Baby Jane doll in that you see at the beginning of the movie, because they're like, everyone get your Baby Jane dolls, and they're of course terrifying. But it's actually, that character is very reminiscent of that doll. That's interesting.
I've never heard any behind the scenes, but I always wonder, did this take inspiration from this film? It may have, I mean, at least in part. Who knows?
In part, like it could have just been inspiration from a lot of different things. But that, I didn't even think about that because I never saw Baby Jane until now. But that's probably one of them, because that's pretty.
Also, Baby Jane, baby doll. I mean, it kind of feels like it, but
like the character model. So.
Okay, next movie I watched was The Batman, which we already discussed in I think the previous monthly movie mini reviews. So
yeah, no one's heard us talk about that yet. Well, by the time this one goes out, The Batman will have already been discussed. But yeah.
So The Batman, Keleigh liked it more than I did.
Yes, I did.
Again, another movie that although I would yeah, I mean, it's another movie that there were a lot of things in it that I liked. You know, I liked the basic conceit of the film, and there were a lot of elements I like. I just didn't feel it all came together very well. And it's always ballsy to have a movie with a 17-act structure. There's a lot. It feels like they were originally going to be doing like a 10-episode HBO Max series, and then they're like, no, let's just make a 3.5-hour movie.
Right? I want to know.
And it kind of feels like that.
Yeah, I see where that.
It is very episodic, though, isn't it?
It is. That's true. I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, it is.
Because like, the Riddler's doing this thing, and I've got to go fail to stop it. Batman's so bad at Batmaning. That's the point of the movie, though. I mean, that's literally the premise. But
I mean, he's only 2 years in.
He's only 2 years in. He gets better. Like the Wild Stallions. What's the Bill and Ted? They do get better. I still need to watch the third one. I haven't seen that yet. I think it's on Hulu.
Oh yeah, we need to watch.
Face the Music, I think.
No. Yes. No.
Bogus. Yeah, it's Face It, because Bogus Journey was the second one. So Face the Music's the new one.
I'm thinking of Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny.
Oh, okay. I've not seen Tenacious D.
I'm like, wait a moment. Yeah, no. We watched last year sometime. We watched the first Bill and Ted's again just to get it. But Bogus Journey isn't, and we want to watch them in order again just to catch up. So we've watched the first one.
Oh god, yeah, I haven't seen them in the 90s.
Yeah, right.
It's been 25 years.
But Bogus Journey we haven't been able to find. So hopefully we keep kind of checking back just to see like if it's coming back or anything. So
yeah. All right. So movie I watched that we haven't already discussed is Stormy Weather from 1943.
Is it a porno?
No. No. Starring a 65-year-old Bill Robinson? I certainly hope not. I mean, not to be ageist, but that's
Could you imagine though if you and I were like, so I watched Deep Throat, this The Life of a Flea. Let's talk about that one.
Yeah, the remake of Deep Throat with the original cast.
God. If I told you all the porn I watched every month, we'd be here way too long.
Well, do you watch actual movies, or are they just like scenes?
No, I just watch what Angela White puts out because I think that she's incredible, and I just could look at her and I laugh because she just did I don't think she just did a video, but like there was a video that she like she's Australian and she tried to put on like a Boston accent, and I'm like, just take your clothes off.
Okay. So Stormy Weather is less a movie and more an excuse to showcase the talents of Bill Robinson, Lena Horne, Cab Calloway, the Nicholas brothers, Fats Waller, Ada Brown, and others.
Wow.
So there's not much of a movie here. It's more of just a showcase of all these incredible talents from the 40s and earlier. And I'm okay with that. So
yeah, with that lineup, sure.
Yeah, think of the Blues Brothers, one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Now imagine the Blues Brothers didn't actually have jokes or a through line plot or characters you care about or action scenes. It was just a series of vignettes where you got to watch Aretha Franklin and why am I thinking Charles Lee Ray? It's Ray Charles, not Charles Lee Ray, Ray Charles.
Just look what Charles Lee Ray performed.
I dare do it, Dembella. Give me the power, I beg of you. Child's Play the musical. So what makes the Blues Brothers one of my favorite movies of all time is not only is it a Cab Calloway's in the Blues Brothers too. Not only is it a showcase of just wonderful blues acts from the 60s and 70s, although the movie I think was like 1980. It's also a genuine, it's got a simple but very good story. It's like, we're getting the band back together to raise money to save the orphanage. Great, that's all I need. We need to get all our band members, we got to do the show and then get the money to the county clerk on time to save the orphanage before it's razed to the ground or something. Great, fine. And while we go, we're just going to put on a bunch of musical acts. There's going to be one of the best damn car chases and car wrecks ever put to film. Really funny jokes, wonderful cameos. It's the Illinois Nazis. I hate these guys.
We're on a mission from God. And then it takes over it's because Belushi passed in between 1 and 2.
John Goodman.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you know what?
Totally forgot who it was.
I like Blues Brothers 2000.
Yeah, good.
Is it as good as the first one? No. But is it really, really bad?
No.
I haven't seen it in 20 years. Maybe I should watch it again, but no, it's nowhere near as good as the first one, but there's a lot of wonderful musical acts in it, even if the movie isn't as funny or as charming as the first one. I like Blues Brothers 2000, although I also like the Blues Brothers, so, But we're talking about Stormy Weather.
We're not talking about Blues Brothers.
Stormy Weather is kind of fictional, biographical, the story of Bill Robinson and his career path. And so essentially the framing device is he's sitting on the porch with his grandkids, grandpa, and then a bunch of the neighbor kids too. Just everyone loves hanging out at Mr. Bojangles' house. They're like, hey, tell us about it. It's like, well, when I was a kid, I was working in this club and then I met Lena Horne and we got on really well. And then then I worked at a bar where Fats Waller and Ada Brown were singing. And then I got hired to do this other show. And then I worked with Lena Horne and we fell in love a lot. And it's essentially that whole thing. And if you're thinking in your head, wait a minute, Bill Robinson was a turn of the century guy. He was doing his shtick in like the 19-teens, the 19-teens. Lena Horne was a 30s and 40s singer. What's the age difference? About 40 years. Lena Horne's like 25 and Bill Robinson's like 65.
Oh, wow.
He died like 5 years after this movie came out. It's really weird. And it's supposed to be a love interest thing. And I'm like, I was actually kind of confused. I'm like, are they trying to do a love interest thing here, or kind of a paternal father-daughter, maybe granddaughter kind of a thing here?
That's a lot different of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, remember last time we were talking about the what's her name? Mae West film that I watched, She's No Angel, in which I was like, hey, we have a romantic pair where the woman is a decade plus older than the man. Like, that's really nice to see. And then I watched this movie 40 years in the other direction.
Like, you think you like that? Watch this.
Yeah, but there are just a ton of absolutely barnbuster musical acts, and Bill Robinson, even at 65, still just wonderful to watch him tap dancing away. There's one great bit where there's he's performing on a stage, and there's just a bunch of like kind of really big bongo drums all set up all around, and he's just dancing from drum to drum. It is amazing. This is the movie that that one Nicholas Brothers segment comes from, where they're doing the split jumps over each other down a flight of stairs.
Down the stairs?
That's this movie. Yeah. Okay. That's what it comes from. Cab Calloway's in it. Fats Waller again, doing what's he do? Ain't Misbehaving, I think. Oh man, it is just not much of a movie at all. But as a showcase of all this musical and stage talent, most of the music, Bill Robinson's not a singer; he's a tap dancer. But even at 65, the dude still got it. Dude delivers. Not really a convincing romantic lead for someone 40 years his junior, but still. I really enjoyed them. If you're into music, and especially that era, Fats Waller, Cab Calloway, Lena Horne, that era of music. And I'll admit it's not my favorite genre of music, but I definitely appreciated and enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the film. So even though it's, again, not much of a movie.
That's awesome.
There is. I think it's this movie. There is one really racist vaudeville act, which is a blackface act.
Gotta have that. I
mean, 1943. It's not terribly surprising, although it's two black actors, but in blackface, doing that. There's a word, but minstrel show.
Yeah.
Vaudeville skit. And the racism is really uncomfortable, and it should be, but it's also really weird because it's a really good act, because it's in blackface, but it's a really funny vaudeville act.
But I think it's important to watch. Like, that's the thing that I think is interesting, is like, it is important to watch these films to see how far we've come. But to also know that there are probably people who are watching that film going, so there's, but like, I think it's important to have that uncomfortable moment. And yeah, I agree with you. Like, you can enjoy the act itself and take out, the context, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
It's just a shame that those two comedians were forced, in the era, forced to perform in the way they were, because they really didn't have to. They were damn talented. That was a funny bit. That was really great.
Yeah.
I hope I've got the right movie. I might be that. I'm pretty sure that's from Stormy Weather. But anyway, Stormy Weather. If you still would have enjoyed the Blues Brothers without story or character or jokes, you'll like Stormy Weather. It's also a lot. Blues Brothers is also a little over 2 hours. This is like barely 90 minutes. So short movie.
I was gonna say it sounds a lot.
Yeah, it's like 70 minutes or something like that. So yeah. No. All right, what's next for you?
So here's a question for you. Did you watch Doctor Strange in April?
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
I'm sorry, in April. No, I watched that in June. Like, I think on June 1st is when I saw it.
Okay, then I will talk about something else, and we'll leave it to be my last one to talk about, just in case where we are on time.
Okay.
Cool. So I watched in El Teatro, The Northman, with the guy that has the abs. one of the Skarsgårds. They are completely.
Is it Stellar Skarsgård?
They're just completely interchangeable to me. They are
the one who's. It's not Bill. It's Stone,
Bill's
right?
the it guy, right? No, Stone was the dad.
No, so it's
Alexandre, right? Isn't?
Oh yeah, I think so. Oh, you're right. Yeah,
Alexander one. I
it's Larry Skarsgård.
So starring Larry Skarsgård, and so here's the thing about the Northman that I'm going to say.
Naked volcano fight.
There's some. It's interesting. It's an interesting film. So I went with Ashley and to our
Alexander. Yeah.
It is Alexander. Okay. So there are so many women out there, all your the loads of women who follow you going, how do you not know if he was in True Blood? I'm sure one of them was in True Blood. I never saw it. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
It's a thing. So no. So yeah. Okay. So here's the thing about this one. I left the movie.
My mom hasn't aged in 20 years.
There's that. I'm like, okay, Nicole. And again,
you're not even going to gray her hair. Come on.
Technically, if you think about it, Nicole hasn't aged in 20 years.
Well, okay, fair. But I didn't know they had Pantene Pro V back then, but
Sure. But so if that's your mom and it's Nicole, I mean, yeah, good on you. Yeah, there's a story. I mean, there's an actual narrative. There is, it's there. But it's weird. Okay, I don't.
I'm gonna kill my uncle, save the village, save my mom, and bang her. Wait, what? What was that last one?
No, this is not Oedipus. Okay, the good news is this isn't Oedipus. He falls in love with Anna Taylor-Joy, who they meet, they have a conversation, and apparently they are like, I would die for you. And I'm like, that must have been a hell of a conversation. Good for you. They become ride or die real quick. And it's all about, you go kill the people that need to be killed. I'll be here with the escape plan. And then you do the murdering.
Oh, she actually has a role in the narrative.
Yeah,
nice.
She has a role. It's not.
Because I watched the trailer, I'm like, is she just going to be I'll
is.
wait for you.
It's a little bit of both. She has things that come up that she's like, all right, she's literally in the background pining for him a lot, just to make it like, oh yeah, it's that girl that he is apparently all caught up with. So I mean,
you're not my mom or anything, but
so last year in whatever last year was, I watched a fantastic movie called The Green Knight.
Yes.
And I came away from The Green Knight and I immediately called you and I told you all the things. And you all have
something I need to talk about.
I just need to talk about it. I have not rewatched The Green Knight, which really needs to happen, because I love it. I've read the book. But I knew leaving it that there was something about it that I needed in my life. It had everything I wanted. It had Dev Patel. It has everything I want. It had you've heard me talk about it. And then through a lot of my own research and my own self-discovery and my own stuff, I'm like, oh yes, I am so looking forward to watching The Green Knight again, because I think it's going to be fantastic. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of information you need going in. This movie, the minute it was over, I leaned over to Ashley and we both looked at each other and were like, this was like The Green Knight. It was epic. There was sweat dripping off dirty men. Beautiful. Love that moment for me.
Naked volcano fight. Right.
There was swords and infidelity and and Alexander doesn't speak because when you look like that, you don't need to.
I let my traps do the speaking.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has lines.
Every shot in the trailer, I see he's standing like this.
Here's the thing though. So I know he had dialogue. I wasn't listening to the dialogue. I didn't think that it had anything to do with anything. I think that he was just
What does your dialogue have to do with your ex?
And he also mumbles, and I'm like, good on you. We're not listening.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you over your biceps.
He's Tarzan, and he just grunts, and we're like, it's a good show. But this one, it didn't grab me the way that it was also weird. I left it and I'm like, this is one of those weird, kind of there's magic, maybe there's so much, and you're just like, oh. I left it feeling very bereft. I didn't call you because it didn't.
It's true.
It was weird because we both looked at each other and were like, that was very Green Knight-like. But
except it didn't stick with you after.
Except there was nothing that needed to be filled or understood or dissected. I was just like, huh.
So I don't need to get you the source material for your birthday or something.
We're good.
Okay.
This is not that movie. But and I don't even think I can't believe I didn't like it because you heard my Green Knight. I was like, I should love this movie, and trust me, I'm going to. I fully believe it's going to be upper echelon when I watch it again. This movie I don't need to watch again. It's dark, it's mumbly, there's weirdness, and yet I can't stress this enough. You just don't care. You just don't. And there's nothing wrong in my head with not caring. He's not a bad guy. Anna Taylor-Joy, his ride or die, not a bad girl. They're both slaves and they fall in love. And I'm like, good on ya. And he wants to go kill his uncle because he married his mother. And then you find out that the mom was like, dude, your uncle is solid, and I wanted your dad dead, and I was kind of part of the whole scheme. and he's like,
that's funny.
And so you find that out, and when you find that out, you as an audience member are going, yeah, I figured.
Tracks.
I'm like that we could have guessed this moment. Even though in those days, the husband is dead and then the mother marries the uncle, y'all keep it within the family back then, so it could have come as a surprise to some people but I didn't care. There was just nothing that you're just and then it ended, and I don't remember if they died, if they didn't die. I'm pretty sure he completed his task. Maybe he died too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, he did. That's what he sends, and I'm gonna ruin the whole movie for you guys because don't go watch it. He puts her in a boat at the end and he's like, I love you and you're amazing, and I think you have mini-me growing in your belly, so I'm gonna, so you go, and I'm gonna, suicide myself into, fighting on a volcano. And then she's like, oh, at the front of the boat, it's that, that moment that is very overdone of I'm crying, but it's okay. I have his little baby bun in here, and
maybe he has a brother who's awesome.
I knew him for a day and a half. I'll meet someone else. I can't stress enough. It happened. I watched it. It was a couple hours of my life.
Okay.
Oh.
That's a great pull quote. The Northman, it's a couple hours of your life. Ringing endorsement. All right. Next movie for me is Down Argentine Way from 1940.
I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, I don't think I'd heard of this either. I think I watched it because it stars a young Don Amici, and I don't think I've seen Don Amici in anything prior to the films, to his career resurgence in the 80s with Trading Places and Cocoon and stuff like that.
Does he look exactly like Baby Don Amici? Is it weird? Is it like, whoa, Baby Don Amici?
I've only ever seen Don Amici as an old man, so it was really interesting seeing a very young Don Amici. It's totally him. You can see it's him, but
that's awesome.
So it's neat seeing a young Don Amici.
Was he a leading man type?
Oh yeah. The whole Latin lover kind of thing, Italian heartthrob kind of thing. I think he was American. At least one of his parents. He has Italian ancestry, but I think he's American, which is kind of funny because it's one of the things that the movie takes place in Argentina, but like it has no Argentinians. It's shot in California. Don Amici.
There's palm trees in Argentina.
Yeah, Don Amici is like the only the furthest away from white that anyone in this film gets, and he's not Argentinian. He's American, but Italian American.
Wow.
Anyway, Charlotte Greenwood's in this. She is absolutely hilarious. She makes the movie for me. There's some fun musical numbers. The Nicholas brothers are in this movie too, which I honestly didn't know going in.
Oh, that's funny.
They go to a bar or something, and the Nicholas brothers are there. It's not quite the same level of awesomeness as the one in the previous film, Stormy Weather, but still very cool. Sadly, though, sloppy script, some ugly racism, made it kind of frustrating watch, which is a shame because it could have been a solid film. It's a love story. We have two people. Don Amici owns like horses, and she wants to buy a horse, and so she like follows him to Argentina to get a horse or something, and they bond over that, and it's oh no, never sell a horse to her family because I don't like her dad because they ripped me off or something, and then it's an absolute mess.
It's called Down in Argentina?
No, Down Argentine Way.
Down Argentine Way. Got it.
Yeah. And if I remember, I'm trying to, if this were a few months ago, I was thinking it takes place in like the wrong part of South America. Because I remember thinking it's like, why is this? Maybe it's a different movie, but I'm like, why does this take place here and not in like Rio? It's.
I want to see that big statue.
I don't remember. I can't remember the movie anymore. It was really my only takeaway was it was neat seeing a young Don Amici, and Charlotte Greenwood's hilarious, and the Nicholas brothers are in it, and there's some good music, but other than that, the movie's just a sloppy mess and not very good, unfortunately. Do you have
Doctor Strange, my last
Doctor Strange, your last one? All right, here. So let me just do my last one, then we'll close out with Doctor Strange.
Cool.
So the last thing I watched was Carmen Jones. Now, are you familiar with Carmen, the opera? Of course you are.
I sing Toreador every time I take a shower.
What?
Toreador, 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 Toreador.
Yeah.
And then
right. Yeah. If you have not seen Carmen, you've heard a bunch of the music from Carmen. It's been used in like cartoons.
Everything.
Hell,
everything. Toreador, and then her opening aria, which I forget what it's called.
La more something. Just, but the overture, that's the intro theme for
the habanera is what it's called.
Oh, is it? Okay. The Don Flamenco in the Punch-Out video game, that's the tune that he's introduced to.
Oh,
and
funny.
I recognized the tune when I played the game when I was 10 or whatever, but It wasn't, and I didn't make the Carmen connection until the Wii version of the game in like 2010 or something like that, where the character's voiced. And so he says, Carmen, mi amor. I'm like, that's what it's from. It's from literally Carmen. So Carmen Jones is a modern movie adaptation of Carmen. And only all of the music is done with is rewritten for English lyrics.
Okay.
And what do you think of Carmen as a story?
That's tough because in opera, the story isn't.
It's not the important part.
It's not the important thing.
The music's the important part.
It's the emotion behind everything, because the stories of most operas are the tiniest story ever. And they just, I mean, flipping Colleen in Bohème sings an aria to his coat. I need you to understand, he's about to donate his coat sell his coat for money because he has no money. So he sings a 6-minute aria to his coat about how amazing his coat is. And it's been through so much. And he gives his coat and he gets his couple of bucks. So the story.
Not as cool as Joseph's coat.
Truth. Okay. So anyway,
that coat Carmen deserves an aria.
Carmen is
so many colors
girl of, she's a flamenco, she's a dancer and a female entertainer escort type woman, right? For the men's.
Not in the movie. I've not seen the Carmen opera, so I'm familiar with the music. I've never seen the opera. I know the basic premise though.
Okay, so tell me about Carmen Jones.
So basic premise is there's a guy who's going to marry his sweetheart, but then he's a military dude, right? Okay, so he's on a military base, hanging with his honey who he's betrothed to. They're going to get, he's like got leave today and they're going to go get married. But Carmen's got her sights on him because she can't have him. She can have anyone because she's just she's a hot number, and she loves the fact that everybody wants her except this guy, which pisses her off. So she wants that guy because he's the one guy that she can't have. So she causes a
female thought.
Yeah, she causes a ruckus, which requires. So the military says, protagonist dude, you're going to drive Carmen into town and put her in prison. And then he's like, but I can't, I'm supposed to get married to my sweetheart. And it's like, no, you have to go do this. And so, of course, he falls in love with Carmen on the way. And I'm like, that was quick. And then she's like,
oh, roadhead, and he didn't.
Yeah. And then she's like, well, okay, got him. I'm done with him now. And then she leaves, and then he broods. And I think his girlfriend's like out of the movie. I don't think we ever mention her again.
We don't in the I don't think there's much about her in the opera either.
And then she like goes to the big city and does stuff, and then the guy shows up, and then they fight over stuff, and then I think he stabs her to death.
I was like, and then he kills her.
He kills her because out of jealousy. Which, I mean, it's an opera. That's how all of them end. They all die, and then he goes to prison.
Yes.
They get back together, but he's being hunted by the military police, so he has to stay indoors. Well, she's not going to be cooped up, so she goes flaunting on the town, and then he gets pissy, and then he tracks her down and murders her, and then he gets arrested, and there's the movie.
Yeah, that's very.
The characters are unlikable. The staging is bad. The choreography is flat. But the story sucks.
Is it staged like there's a fourth wall, or is it an actual
movie?
Film?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. It's shot like full locations and stuff. The music's great. I like music's great. Great source material. It's fun listening to how they adapted the original music to have English lyrics. Nothing wrong with the actors. It's what's his name, Harry Belafonte.
There you go.
What's his name? Let me make sure I got the name right here. Whoop. What's his first name? Yeah, Harry Belafonte. And Dorothy Dandridge is Carmen Jones. And they're
just Dorothy Dandridge. I was like,
I think Harry Belafonte, I'm pretty sure he was dubbed, which is weird because I'm pretty sure he's a singer, but I guess he didn't have the opera pipes, so they dubbed him with someone else.
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
Not sure if Dandridge is dubbed or not.
Or is it just they're not live singing and they're terrible lip syncers?
I'm pretty sure that's not Belafonte singing. Let me see if I can see.
Yeah, he is a singer, so why?
Yeah, let's cast singers and then dub them with other singers.
Right? That's weird to me.
Yeah. So it sucks. I didn't like the movie at all. I mean, again, great music, but yeah, the movie just does.
Again,
everything's bad.
I love opera, but I get what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's normally has nothing to do with the story or the characters, because a lot of characters are terrible. Like
musicals often
terrible woman she is.
Yeah, she sucks. But so does Harry Belafonte's character. I mean, he starts out, it's like you're with him, and then he just immediately falls for it. And it's like, oh, screw this guy.
They don't have time to have backstory. Like, that's the thing about love in film that I've learned more and more, is that you just gotta fall quick because we ain't got time for this.
There's some great stunt work at the beginning of the film, and by great I mean I would be surprised. I hope I'm glad the actors weren't killed. It's the kind of, it's like, oh my God, what, with a car and a train and that kind of, it's like, oh Jesus.
Back in the day when they were like,
when they did that stuff for real, it's like, oh, I hope our actors don't die. That's one thing. But musicals, as contrasted with opera, often work very well as adaptations to film. Opera rarely, for the reasons you specified, opera rarely, unless it's a full reimagining, rarely are operas, I find at least, adapted to film. They're not as readily adaptable to film because, as you pointed out, it's not really about character or story. That's just a very thin veneer to tie the music together.
Yeah. So it's crazy, but that's awesome. I'm excited. I'll have to listen to it at least because I enjoy. I mean, the music of Carmen is one of those that.
Check out it's interesting.
Salvatore, there are some that everyone knows, you just don't know you know them. So yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm wondering if they dubbed Dandridge too, because she's a singer too, but
she is a singer.
I don't know if she's like full high soprano opera singer.
Carmen is a mezzo, so there's that. Carmen and Cenerentola. Oh yeah, well,
yeah, that's up there.
It is up there.
She might be. I don't know, but
Carmen is a very famous mezzo role.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cenerentola is a famous mezzo role. Cinderella, by the way, Cenerentola, famous because of course sopranos get all the good roles. So when there's a good mezzo, I know exactly what those roles are. I'm like, yeah. And then there's of course Hansel and Gretel is a pants role, but that's a pants role. So Doctor Strange time.
Doctor Strange time.
So
and I guess full spoilers.
Let's fully spoil it.
Yeah, okay.
It is currently, I think it just hit Disney Plus.
Yeah, last week. This video won't be out for at least a month or two. So
but
I think
that it's
clear.
already on Disney Plus now, I think by the time this comes out, the people who want it.
Yeah.
So first, I'm going to tell a story because it's very important for you to know.
Okay.
So we are huge Marvel fans in this house. As you know, we watch all of it. As you know, you and I discuss it often.
When Jeremy's home and not working 12 hours a day.
However, the original Doctor Strange, I've only seen, I believe, once.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you get older, you realize that time is precious. And sometimes you can't watch all the things that you want to watch.
Yeah.
I do want to rewatch all these movies, it is true. So because the original Doctor Strange was a couple years ago, several years ago maybe, that I saw it, the most recent thing I have seen is What If. And What If is is it rotoscoped?
I don't think so.
It's not rotoscope, but it is definitely very, like, the animation is that, we're looking at Benedict Cumberbatch and Rachel McAdams as those people. Like, it's an interesting animation style. People know what If looks like, but it's realistically drawn, if you will.
Yeah, it's caricatures of the likenesses of the actual actors for the most part.
Yeah.
And uses most of the original cast as the voices, even the ones, Sebastian Stan, who are not very good at voiceover. Sorry, Sebastian, we love you. You're a great actor, but you're not good at voiceover.
Yeah,
it's a completely different skill set.
Truly.
It's okay, man.
So, so most recently I saw What If.
Mm-hmm.
And if you recall, in the What If universe, Rachel McAdams dies. And
repeatedly, yes.
Repeatedly. And he does everything in his power to try to change this set in stone thing. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I went in and I saw Doctor Strange. And I enjoyed it, and we'll talk about it in a second. However, I was so confused as to why Rachel McAdams was there.
Oh.
Because I thought she was dead. I was like,
yeah, that was a
dead!
Different universe.
And I was telling Jeremy,
well, the universe also collapsed into a little ball. So.
Yes, I know that. But I was telling Jeremy, I was like, I don't understand this. Why is she there? Why did they rewrite it? Jeremy didn't understand what I was all up in arms about. And I'm like, because he had not remembered the What If as deeply as I did, because to me it was anyway. So first off, do I need to see it again? Yes, because it's Marvel. I need to see it again always. But second off, let me tell you, I was quite distracted a lot going, I swear she's supposed to be dead. I'm so confused and concerned.
Well, he actually runs into the Doctor Strange in the universe where Rachel McAdams is dead. So that sinister Strange character is the one of the ones he runs into at the end of the movie and has the music fight with.
Yeah, the music. I know, right? I'm like, and then that was a very interesting thing. But yeah, he does bump into him. So anyway, that was my first takeaway, because it was a very deep, like, what the hell?
I swear to God, she's dead. I know. I just saw that. It's like, yeah, it's a different universe.
I was so confused for a while, but I love it. So anyways, it's very interesting, and I liked it a lot, even though at the very beginning, when the new America girl, her name's America, right?
America Chavez, yes.
Thank you. When America dies and he says, this is the only way, because it's something that Doctor Strange has said before in the that part, this is the only way. And she was like, I'm going to find another way. And she, goes through before he can, like, kill her. I was like, they're going to get right. I'm like, you just know that you're going to get right back to that space again, but they're going to have to do it differently. And so, at the beginning of the movie, where the movie is going to take you.
Mm-hmm.
I knew immediately at the beginning of the movie, we're going to find ourselves back in this exact situation. and he's going to tell her that he has to drain her power, and it's the only way, and yet it's going to be different, and I don't know how. And so you watch the whole movie and you watch it go. And the thing that I love about that is that the journey is the thing. Sometimes knowing the end doesn't ruin a movie.
Right. The idea is like, how do we get there? How do we prevent how do we prevent history from repeating itself?
How do we prevent it? Yes, exactly. So I thought it was very exciting and interesting how to get there. I liked a lot about it. I disagree with, so there's a scene in which they're falling through, like she does her starburst and he like grabs her or whatever.
Portal punch thing, yeah.
They're falling through a lot of different universes, and they're paint in one of them.
Yeah. We paint?
Were we paint? And he's like, were we paint? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Hard
to eat in that one.
That was, I like how he said,
you know, food is free in most universes. It's so weird that you have to pay for it. I'm like, huh. Yeah. Right?
Well,
I mean, that'd be like charging money for air.
Yeah, I liked the green and the, red. He's like, it was green. Never think that you know what's happening, when he walks on the green crosswalk sign or whatnot.
Oh,
so
green and red about
that is very cute and very funny. The thing that I found, so I did not, however, enjoy the paint or the abstract worlds, because to me, that's completely different. I get that there might be a universe out there that we're, drawn, but we're not, because we're sentient.
Well, I mean,
there was a moment that I was
other
like,
universes where life isn't carbon based or something. I don't know.
Maybe it's, but then if it's a place where life isn't carbon based, then
although paint's carbon based, so of course maybe it's not like the paint.
Then why weren't they ever animals? Like, why didn't he turn into a raccoon? And what I felt like
maybe they are in some universes. I don't know.
I felt, and that's the thing, is the universes in which we traveled, I found less like there wasn't. It was just a universe like we know. It's just in trees.
The crosswalk colors are backwards.
Crosswalk colors are backwards. Pizza isn't a ball shape. Trees have, yellow, purple leaves. It just, it's just not. It's like when you tell a kid to, draw a tree and they make the sky yellow and the tree is blue, and then you're like, that's not the right color, but it's still a tree. And for what it's worth, let your children draw and do whatever they want. Don't try to cap that creativity. But I was like, you just fell through all these universes, one in which you were paint, even though I disagree with it. The universes in which you took time were like every like there wasn't anything about them that made me go,
all the universes, it's only they're not, with the exception of the paint dimension, they're all pretty much the same. It's just the fine details that differ a bit.
Yeah. So,
which can sometimes be interesting, but yeah.
And then I also found it interesting, and again, with an unlimited amount of universes, yes, you will find a universe in which the Illuminati is made up of all of the same characters we know, just with different, like Captain America is what's
Peggy Carter.
Yeah, so Captain America is Peggy Carter, and whoever
probably
else,
Captain Britain or something like that, but actually is a Captain Britain, I think.
Like, we have the superheroes that we know, they're just with the other characters, which is probably another reason why I was very much in the what if headspace, because I'm like, oh, this is like what if, because Peggy Carter is, but they have the Illuminati up there, and of course Chewie is given a wonderful juicy Chewie role, and I'm just like, I love that man. I love that man. And I apologize every time I say his name, because I'm positive he's like, oh, that's not how it's pronounced. But his name is Chewie, so you got to know that that's what it is. So,
Edgeo4?
Edgeofor, Chewy-Tell Edgeofor, which I'm sure I'm making very specific Chewy-Tell Edgeofor, and I'm sure it's much more like beautiful and like, you know, languid, but like he's like this, and then I'm American. Anyways, but in that, I just felt to myself like they bring in these people, and every single one of them is a different character, is the same, is different than we know. And I was like, in this universe, like I get it. With infinite universes, you're absolutely right that we would have different heroes, but it was weird that I'm like, there can't be one that's the same.
Well, I mean, the Doctor Strange was Doctor Strange.
And that's true. There was no
Stephen
other
Strange, yeah.
Like that.
And I guess you know, I mean, we in our current Marvel universe, we don't have a Reed Richards yet. We don't have a Professor Xavier. So
right. Well, so I did think
it's just fan service. It's just, wouldn't it be neat to have
it is fan service.
Elder Rambeau as Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be neat to have a Black Bolt back from the failed Inhuman show, which I never bothered watching.
But like, I really liked that they killed them all. And I love how the Echo guy, the Scream guy,
Black Bolt, yeah,
he goes and his head explodes. Because I'm like, holy, that's but I like
the only one I didn't like is Captain Marvel had something heavy fall on her. I'm like, really, that wouldn't put she's a weak ass Captain Marvel if something heavy falling on her takes her down.
But I like, and then what's his name, stretchy guy is there again, Mr. Fantastic.
It's John Krasinski.
Which is John Krasinski, which that
was a fan cast.
That number one, fan cast. Mm-hmm. Number two, I would need him to show me photos of him on set with other people, because I think he was in a
Compton.
Yeah,
probably.
I don't think he was there.
Probably not
in any of the, but it was obvious kind of to me. But anyways, the thing that I liked about it in a way in that scene, even though I was like, oh, come on, throw me a bone, is that they killed everyone. And it's okay because we actually don't know them. You know, it's kind of this thing of like, I can't believe they killed everyone, but there was no emotional investment technically. So even though they're heroes that we know and they're heroes that we think we love, we actually don't know those people, you know, and he killed them all. And there's one part of you that's like, I can't believe he just killed all those heroes. And then there's other part that you're like,
it doesn't matter, it's a different universe.
Yeah, it's a different universe. We don't know them. They might be assholes. And not just that, but they're pretty
they cool. are. It's a pretty fetishistic
I liked it.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's just that one scene. But no, I did enjoy the film, and I enjoyed how it went. And there's a music fight, which is interesting. I definitely need and want to see it again. And I want to hear before I go on your thought.
Yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I saw it in the drive-in, so I want to watch it again just so I can see it a little bit better.
Exactly. And Disney Plus, so I think we can do that.
I enjoyed the film. I thought it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed a lot of the more spooky Sam Raimi-y creepy stuff with, you know, Wanda coming out of mirrors and puddles and stuff, and the ghost cape and undead Strange, you know, giving his final empowering "you go get it" speech, and half his face is rotted off. I love that contrast. It's so funny.
Let me say, so back up. It's a full out horror movie to me.
PG-13 horror, but yes,
it is a zombie horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was brilliant because the Marvel universe now has a full on zombie horror movie. And I was like, oh,
it's pretty great. Yeah.
Well, Sam Raimi.
Wong is wonderful as always. One missed opportunity is when he's talking with America Chavez. He's like, so that dream I have where I'm naked and being chased by a clown. She goes, yeah, that's something that's happening to you in another universe. He's like, oh God, that's horrible. I'm like, I was expecting like a mid-credits scene with naked Wong going, ah, and some scary clown chasing after him. I'm like, how could you? Maybe it's in the background in that montage of universes they fall through. Maybe you see naked Wong running.
Oh, that would be funny.
That would that'd be great. I predicted exactly how America Chavez would be used in this movie. And because I'm like, okay, well, what if Wanda, what if it's Doctor Strange trying to keep America Chavez safe from Wanda, who wants to use her to punch a hole in the dimension to get to her kids, and that would cause a big problem. So we have to keep the America Chavez football away from Wanda. And that's essentially exactly what happens in the movie, which underserves America Chavez as a character. I mean, I couldn't get a great read on the actor. She's fine. I'm sure she'll do great as the character evolves, but she didn't have a ton to do in this film.
No.
By the way the film is put together.
I would agree with that. Like, I'm like, I hope she didn't put any depth. But there was none too.
She absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with the performance. Perfectly charming, perfectly likable. I think she's going to be great. I hope she has more to do later.
Yep.
Did you see WandaVision?
That's my favorite one that they've done.
I don't know. I like that they went just full villain with Wanda and didn't do, she's controlled by the Darkhold or something. They may retcon that later, but she just went full villain. I appreciate the gumption. I'm not completely sure that it really follows where we left her in WandaVision.
Right?
That felt a bit too far even for Wanda. Like, I'm willing to kill children and everyone in my way to get it. I'm like, why don't you just make yourself more fake kids?
See, now I thought that it was going to be the Darkhold. I truly did. I thought that it was just going to be,
and it's the the influence is not helping, but it is her responsibility
because at the end of WandaVision, isn't there two Wandas? Like, she extracted the Dark Wanda who's like sitting there hovering in her Scarlet Witch, and then like there's a regular Wanda just doing it. I swear to gosh, there is.
No, pretty sure no. There's no two Wandas. There's several Wandas in this movie.
Oh, my kids are home.
Well,
but yeah, I actually was surprised. Like, I thought they marketed it well. I did not. Going in, I didn't think Wanda was going to be a villain.
I didn't know she'd be full I'm going to murder children type villain, but I figured she'd be the antagonist. And I figured Strange and Wanda would be fighting over America Chavez's powers. That's what I assumed would happen, and it's essentially what the film is. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the movie, and we're running low on time here.
We are running low on time.
So quickly, I do not recommend X-Men: The Last Stand because it's really, really, really bad. And I do recommend Stormy Weather. It's not much of a movie, but it's a great music and show talent showcase. And it's, even if you don't like it, it's short.
There you go. And I don't see Northman, not necessary. If you can have 2 hours better spent.
But Beefcake.
Sweaty Dirty Men. Yeah, you can watch. There's a lot of other things you can watch for that, guys. But watch Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. I truly was impressed with it, and it was definitely, for me, just watching the deteriorate. Like, I like psychological films, and watching the deterioration of people, and it was done in a very realistic, I could sympathize, even though I don't like you, way. So not you.
Okay, well, that is our April movies. We did it in one. All right, well done us. Patity pat, pat, pat. So take care, everyone. We will be back at you with more movies from May, in which I watched, I think, a grand total of 1 movie.
I don't even remember. I'd have to count. But
all right, so that's it from us. Take care, everyone.
Take care. Bye.